Welcome everyone to the health economics video. Today we will understand what is economics and how health can be improvised through economical means. So let us understand economics is all about scarcities and choices, all about resource allocation. Basically, we like to have maximum output from the minimum output, or should I say optimum utilization. Then comes the market economies and command economics thereby. So let us talk about scarcities and choice. Economic studies show tells me how individuals and societies make choices under conditions of limited scarcity, limited resources to satisfy unlimited, unending wants thereby. Resource allocation, it is basically studying how people are allocating their resources, and mind you, these resources are scarce for production, distribution and consumption of goods and services. Market economics are the prices of goods and services that reflects the cost of production, allowing private businesses to make some kind of production decision in order to optimize, or should I say maximize, their profits, and at the same time retaining their customers of a stronghold among the market. Command economics, the government plans to and dictates production's level targets. That is what is command economics is all about it. So macroeconomics versus microeconomics. Macroeconomics studies the overall health of the economy, including national outputs, inputs, inflation, unemployment, and foreign trade. It focuses on the broad trends in aggregates, as in why did the Great Depression happen? Why is the inflation going up or going down? What is that to be done with the interest rate that the banks are offering? Look at the macroeconomics factor. Now, about microeconomics factors focuses on individuals, behaviors of individual actors, such as firms, household, industries. It analyzes the price, quantity, and decision making at every level, or should I say the micro level, at the minutest of the level, as in how does the interest rate affect the individual savings per se. Normative versus positive economy. Positive economy focuses on factual statements about economic behavior that can be objectively measured and tested. What is the unemployment rate among teenagers? How does the tax increases affect the smoking rates? If you increase the tax on the cigarettes, probably does the consumption go down, or what happens? Or just the collection of the government kitty in the form of tax collection goes high only. Normative economics deals with the value judgment and opinion about economic issues. These statements cannot be proven true or probably even false and often involve ethical consideration. Should the government help the poor, or should there be healthcare for all, and can it be free? Key point, it is important to distinguish between positive and normative statement to have a clear economic discussion. Positive statement provides the foundation for economics, but normative statements guides the policy decision based on values per se. Supply is what about the amount of goods and services that the producers are willing and able to sell at a given price. Does it mean the producers are supposed to make profits, the retailers are supposed to make profit? Demand is the end consumers or the end customers are willing to pay for it, so that it's a balance between demand and supply. Supply is influenced by factors like production cost, as in what are the cost of productions, availability of resources, as in the availability. If there are scarce resources involved, the prices will quadruple or run up. Why? Because demands are might be there and the supply is absolutely rare and infrequent. Market is any place where buyers and sellers can exchange goods and services. Free market operates without government interfaces. Information is crucial for the buyers and sellers to make informed decisions. Supply and demand analysis. This theory explains how change in prices affects the supply and demand of goods and services. If there is a change in price, if there's an increase in price, does the demand diminishes or it remains same? Or it might again go higher. Let's say it has some kind of ethical values or probably some kind of star value that the product is commanding. Consumer preferences and business costs determine supply and demand. Prices, remember, prices acts as a mechanism to balance the supply and demand. It is all the game of supply and demand. The demand curves, the relationship between price and quantity, demands allows to go around it. See what happens if the price is high. Look at what is it. If the price is high, the demand is less, but as the price goes down, the demand increases, fall in prices. But this is what we are looking for. The buyers are willing and able to buy at a convenient prices. Law of demand, there's an inverse relationship between price and quantity. As the price increases, quantity demand decreases. This is ceteris paribus, holding everything else constant. Remember, everything else constant. Consumer substitute towards the cheaper goods when price rises altogether. Definitely, yes, we are looking into it. We don't go for processed food, we go for raw fruits or food that is available in the nature. Shifts in the demand curve. A change in any of these factors except the price will cause a demand curve to shift. The direction of the shift depends on the specific factors that changes. This is to be noted down. Remember, I'll just give you an example altogether. Look for the quantity of X which has been demand and the demand that has been created because of quantity X and the market demand. So as the price of commodity goes from $10 to $2, you see what is happening. The demand increases altogether. The price is going down, the demand increases. X demanded by the market as the price goes around it, and this is what reflects. So, what is it we are looking into it? We are looking just nothing at the price rate. So, what is the rate that goes around? It goes increases altogether, and there is a consumption changes pattern which happens. So, what is the requirement for economics, the health economics per se? If this is my the point is if this is the curve where it is profitable not only for producers but also the customers are going to or willing to pay for it. Can we increase the price to this point? Obviously, yes. How do we increase the demand? We can reduce the price. Definitely, yes. One way is to reduce the price. Look what is happening with it. When we are having at 12 point, the prices absolutely increases. There's a demand that goes from 80 to 150. When it has been sold at the higher price point at 16, probably this is a point that goes around here. So if we reduce the prices 16 to $12, probably we're shifting the demand this side. We are just promoting a demand, but then there is an increase in demand from 80 units to 115 units per se. Factors affecting demand curves shift. Outward shift increases demand, rise in income, normal goods. As the income increases, consumer buyers more. Shifting in the demand curve happens. Increase in preferences. If consumer develops a stronger preferences for a good, demand will increase. Fall in the price of complement goods used together like cameras, like films. If the price of the film falls, the demand for cameras will increase automatically. If the price of the gas, or should I say petrol, or should I say petroleum gas or liquefied petroleum price, if the prices falls, don't you think people will be taking their vehicles more out? And probably there will be more demand for vehicles, high-end vehicles that too. But if the price of the gas or petrol increases, don't you think people will go back to shared taxis, shared cabs, or even use public transport? They will not take their own vehicles outside. So that is what we are looking into it as in the fall in the price or the rise in the price of the complement. In this case, the gas or the petrol vis-a-vis the vehicle that you are utilizing it. Inward shift is the rise in the price of the substitute when we are seeing a increase in the price of the oil or gas or petrol. If the substitute goods become cheaper, demand for the original good will decrease automatically. Supply. Definition: the amount of goods or services that producers are willing and able to sell at a given service. Supply schedule: relationship between price and quantity supplied, holding other factors absolutely perfect or constant. Law of supply: there's a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. As there is an increase in prices, quantity supply would obviously increase. Reason for upward sloping of supply curve. Law of diminishing return. As more of the goods is produced, additional units become much more costly to produce, requiring a higher price to incentivize production. Producers profit maximization. Higher prices encourages and I should say motivates producers to supply more and earn more and more profit. Supplier in the market. In this example, the supplier are bone setters who provides healthcare services as stated by Vogeshaus. Their goal is to maximize profit, which is the difference between revenue earned from selling services and cost as in expenses incurred to produce those services thereby. So yes, what are we looking into it? On the next axis, we are printing or mapping quantities. On the y-axis, we are mapping nothing but the prices. Remember, when the price at the P1, the quantity demanded is Q. This is the equilibrium because beyond this, people are not willing to buy around it. Now, what can we do? Can there be a contraction? Obviously, yes. If we increase the price from P1, P to P1, there will be automatically a contractions. But if can it be increased to Q to Q1? So there is this demand that we are looking into it. Extension of P to P1 prices, extension from P to P1, there would be a contraction from B to A. But if there is a quantity that needs to be increased because of an excess production or excess supply altogether, we reduce the price and the quantity shoots up. And that is the balancing act that comes around it. Supply curve represent the relationship between price and quantity supplied, holding all other factors up equal or constant, slope upwards as price increases, quantity supply increases. Factors affecting supply are cost of production, prices of input, prices of substitute, and market organizations. Profit maximization and supply, bone setters, like most businesses, aims to maximize profit. This means selling more services at a higher prices. Supply is the total amount of goods or services that the producers are willing or able to pay at a given price. There's a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. Higher prices leads to a higher supply movement. That is what we are also looking for it. Now there's a shift in the supply curve. If there is a shift in the supply curves gets contracted, or should I say there is a decrease in supplies. There's a reduction in supplies, or vice versa, the increase in supply, or there is an expansion as well as flooding the market with the resources. A change in production cost will actually cause the supply curve shift. Let's say cost increases, higher wages, supply curve shifts towards S1 as the producers are willing to sell less at each price point. Why? Because then the producers are selling less at each price point, at a lesser price point, but they are not making profit at all. So they would love to sell at an optimum or higher price point. Cost decreases, let's say lower rent. The rent goes missing altogether, if I say so. Why? Because there was a national highway or there was an international bypass or there was this particular vicinity wherein which in pulled in the crowd, but this vicinity, this facility, this national highway or the road have been diverted. Now what happens? So automatically rent goes down. People are not willing to have their shops out there. Supply curve shifts outward, shown as in hypothetical rightward shift of SS, as the producer are willing to sell more at each price point. Market equilibrium is the point where the quantity supplied equals the quantity demand. Equilibrium price and quantity. At this point, the market forces are balanced with buyers and willing to purchase exactly what the suppliers are selling. Market forces, supply and demand forces determine the equilibrium price and quantity. Stability in a stable market, the equilibrium price and quantity will persist as long as other factors affecting supply and demand remains unchanged. So we need to understand this is what my point is. This is how the demand goes down. If the price is at higher end and quantity, I will not be consuming more because the price is at the higher end. But as we lower down the price, my quantity demand will increases. So let's say at this price point, there's an equilibrium. Why is there equilibrium? Because I've just only explained you the demand side. What happens with the supply side? Now, the supply side, you look at smaller quantities, the price point is at the lower end. But as you increase the quantities, your prices increases, the cost of production increases altogether, right? The cost of production increases, and this is the point where it is beneficial not only for the product producers or the retailer or the supplier, but also for the end consumer, which they are willing to pay around it. But in case we, the producers, are willing to supply or flood the market, it is an excess supply that been created. When there is a flooding of the market, the price will automatically fall down. Remember, the demand will automatically fall down. So out here you have an excess demand. Why? Because there's a less amount of supply, more amount of price point. At out here it's more about the supply, so there's an excess supply and less amount of demand that falls around it. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching.